Right throughout the night until midnight, we were out dancing and, gallivanting and having fun. And I left my surprise birthday party to go and look for another party somewhere else. Now, that was the plan of the enemy to destroy me. But how many of you know, whatever the devil meant for evil, God will turn for your good? So, in that time, we end up reaching in Viewfort and there was sound clash. Good day, everyone. My name is Nicola Marius and I am from the beautiful island of St. Lucia. I am here to testify of God's goodness towards me. I grew up in the community of La Clery at first, and then I moved to the community of Babono. However, when I moved into the community of Babono, my mother was living with my dad, and later on they got married, and we were living as a happy family while they were married, and everything seemed to be nice, clean and proper, only to find out that the enemy had plans to scatter the head in order for the body to be destroyed. And when I say that, I mean to say that we no longer had a head of the household. The priest of the home was gone. He was no longer there. My dad left my mom when I was 5 years old. And as a result, I became very indignant, very angry, very enraged. I felt that if God was real or even existed for that matter, then why would he take my dad away? Why would he take the only man who would tell me that he loves me on a morning? Why would he take him away from me? Why would he allow my dad to leave my mother with the three of us? And I'm also the second of 4 siblings, 4 sisters. My mother has 4 daughters and my dad has 3 daughters. I am the first of my father. I am my father's first. And I was very close to my dad. I remember growing up, when my dad would be coming from work, I would stand in the doorway shouting, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." We would chant and we'd shout, and we would be so happy and we would be so excited to see Daddy coming home. Only to find out that my dad came home one day and he said that he has to leave. And he said to me, "Nicola, I have to go. Take care of your mother for the future." I said, "What is this? I am only 5 years. How can I take care of my mother for the future?" I grew up with a lot of hatred and a lot of pain in my heart. I was also molested when I was young by a family member. And my mother did not know. She did not know what was going on. I grew up hating myself, hating everything about myself. At the age of 3 years, I fell off a 7-foot balcony and my head burst open. And I have a dent on the right side of my forehead. This is my testimony also. Falling off a balcony and not dying, that had to be Jesus Christ of Nazareth holding me in his hand. And I could tell you, brothers and sisters, that there is nothing that's impossible with God. God could make all grace abound towards you as you believe in him. And I'm speaking like this today, and I'm telling you and I'm giving you my testimony, but I'm also giving you encouraging words in between to let you know that there is nothing under the sun that is new. Nothing under this sun is new. Somebody probably have gone through this thing with the same things that I went through. They maybe have gone through worse or probably similar. So this is why I'm here to testify and let you know that if God could have taken me out of it, then he can do the same for you. As a result, I remember as a little girl, I would sit down in a little dark corner in my grandparents' house and I would speak down to myself in anger and rage and tell myself things like, you're not worth anything. Nobody loves you. You are hated. You will die soon. this and you that, and your forehead too big and your nose too flat and your eyes too big and you're ugly and you're not loved by any. I said this to say, I spoke those things towards my life and into my life to the point where I started believing it. I started looking for love in the wrong places. I felt even if I would say that no one loves me, I would still try to find it in places that I should not have found it. And it happened that at the age of 15, I was raped. Many of my family members don't know that, but I was raped. And as a result, it caused even more pain and more hurt. And I remember I was blaming my mother for not allowing my father to stay. Because I remember when my father came and she said, like, enough is enough. This man has done enough. I remember her taking all his clothes from off of the lines in the room, from everywhere, and putting it outside, just throwing it outside. Like this crazy woman, just throwing my father's clothes outside and telling him to go, 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 go. I don't want nothing else to do if you just leave. And I stood there crying, Daddy, don't go, please. Daddy, please, don't leave us. Please, don't go. And my father still left. And at the age of 15, after I was raped by this person started hating me to the point where they didn't want anything to do with me. They would see me and they would not talk to me. And I said, but how could you have had this thing with me and do this to me and now you don't want to see me? But I did not understand the spiritual battles that I had to go through in life. I am not an ordinary young lady. I am extraordinary for a lot of extra to it. And I know that God has a great and a mighty plan for me. That's just a little background of my past and how I grew up. But let me give you the time where I encountered the Lord. In 2010 of August 1st, it was my birthday, and I turned 18 years. I was excited. I was like, yes, finally, I'm a grown up. Yay! I can do what I want. Nobody can talk to me. But what I did not know was greater than me. I said that, and that same day, my mother sent a vehicle to pick me up, to bring me down south. And this guy came to pick me up from my mother's workplace. And as he came to pick me up, we left and we went down to Dennery looking for somebody else to pick up, to bring to, wherever we had to go. And I did not know where we were going at the time. But to take off all of the suspense, it was my surprise birthday party that they were taking me to. So my mother planned a surprise birthday party for me. In spite of my mother's planning a surprise birthday party for me, I had hatred in my heart towards my mother. I held hatred in my heart towards my mother for close to 8 years. Because at the age of 10, I became rebellious towards my mother. I remember I wanted to kill myself in my mother's bedroom. I took the knife and I put it to my stomach and I said, today is the day I'm going to end my life. When my mother comes home, my mother is going to find me in a pool of blood. Because that's what she deserved. How could you tell me you leave me here and you go with my sisters to town and you leave me here and you didn't leave anything for me to eat. You just leave me here and tell me I'm rude, so I will fend for myself. How could you? How could you be so wicked? I said, I'm going to kill myself. And I remember we lived in a forest area. So there was no way that music could have been playing under the bush. But I heard this song playing in the background or under the bush somewhere, and I really love this song, and it talks about the Bobolies. I don't know why I had something to do, love to do with that song, the Bobolies. But it had a nice beat, and I liked music, and worldly music at the time. And it happened that I was hearing this song, and I put the knife down and I started singing the song and I started dancing the song. And I said, just so, that's what I want to do to myself. I take the knife and I go and put the knife in the case in the kitchen. And I sat down on the chair. And when my mother come, I do like I didn't do anything. I sat down there and I regret killing myself that day. Let me tell you why. I regret killing myself that day because my mother went to town. She bought matching pants for my sisters, matching tops for her, matching pants for her, nothing for me. Nothing for me. I was rude. Nobody wanted to talk to me. My family members could not talk to me. You understand? I was very rude and indignant and nobody could not speak to me. But all of this to say, at the age of 10, what does a child know about suicide? What does a child know about wanting to kill herself? You understand? But 8 years later, that is when I encountered the Lord. I encountered God at 18 years. My birthday was the 1st of August. Right throughout the night until midnight, we were out dancing and, gallivanting and having fun. And I left my surprise birthday party to go and look for another party somewhere else. Now that was the plan of the enemy to destroy me. But how many of you know, whatever the devil meant for evil, God will turn for your good? So, in that time, we end up reaching in Viewfort and there was sound clash. That's where all these big speakers are on the road. Police officers shut down the road and there's like a bacchanal in Viewfort. And everybody's dancing and there's sound clash and that DJ against that DJ. And I'm dancing away to Vibes Cartel music and to all the Movados and all of the stuff your young people like, right? But at that time, I didn't know any better. I would wind down and gallivant and woo, I'm enjoying myself, drinking my little rum there. I done tipsy already. I can barely walk. I'm rocking, But God never failed me. He never turned his back on me. I remember that night. Before I left my surprise birthday party, my mother said to me, do not go. Due to the fact of me having hatred in my heart towards my mother, anything my mother tell me not to do, I will do it. You understand? I just wanted to make her pay. But I did not recognize that me not honoring her, not obeying her, it was not bringing blessings into my life. It was only bringing curses. And it would have shortened my life. On that note, young lady, young man, your parents are speaking to you for your own good. Do not neglect and do not reject instruction because you may just perish in the process. And perishing is not like dying. Perishing is perishing tragic. An accident, a bike, somebody stab you up or shoot you up. This is what perish means, a tragic death. So please, obey your mother and your father. Be obedient. And parents, do not provoke your children to wrath, but train them up in the ways of the Lord. Bring them up in the admonition of the Lord. And let them grow up in the fear of the Lord. That when they are old, they will not depart from it. So, but my mother, she likes to pray. So when I left, my mother went into prayer. And my mother started praying things like, Lord, cover her with the blood, protect her. Lord, cover them, cover them. She didn't know all of the jargons of prayer. But all she knew was the blood of Jesus, cover them. And she would cover me. That night, the devil said in his mind, I'm going to kill that child. I'm killing that girl tonight. She's not coming back at her home. I am going to kill her. But God said, no, this one, I have a mark on her. I have a seal on her, and you cannot kill her. She does not belong to you. She belongs to me. She may not know her purpose, She may not know who she is right now, but she will surely find out. And let me tell you something. God said, Nicola, you're not dying tonight. I can say it like that now, but I couldn't say it at the time. I didn't know what was happening. I would not know that the devil wanted to kill me that day. You understand? But what I am here to let you know is that that particular day, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, the 2nd of August, 3 o'clock in the morning. We were coming from Vieux-Fort, going up towards Latuni. And this corner by the, there's a garage on the left-hand side. And there's this place where it looks like a precipice. And the vehicle left the road and was going straight down there. Let me tell you, the same Jesus that I didn't want to hear nobody tell me about, because I said, Jesus, if Jesus was in existence, if he had loved me, he wouldn't let my father leave my mother and leave us to suffer. Because I felt I was just born on this earth to suffer and die. You hear me? I never thought that there would be love for me, that I would ever be loved, that I would ever be accepted by any, right? But God showed up in the nick of time. And that night, the morning, that 3 o'clock in the morning, when I saw the vehicle going down, I said, Jesus! When I shout Jesus, that vehicle stopped at a halt. Immediately. It did not go 2 minutes or 2 seconds forward. It stopped immediately. And I know that Jesus was the one who pressed the brakes. Let me tell you why. The driver of the vehicle, when I look at him in the driver's seat, his foot was up in the air on the rooftop of the vehicle. Tell me, how is that possible? He was on his back and his foot up in the air. So it was not him who pressed that brakes. It could not have been him. But God said, you know what? I have something to tell you tonight. But I wasn't hearing him. I wasn't hearing God. I didn't want to hear God. What do you want to talk to me for? I don't have nothing to do for you. That night, I left the vehicle and I went outside. And I opened my arms in the middle of the road. And I said, send a vehicle and kill me now. I don't want to live. What is this? Am I born to just suffer and die? What is this? I'm not living this life like this. And it didn't take time. I heard this still small voice say to me, where are you going? Where will you go? You cannot go anywhere. You cannot tell me take you home, because you have no home to go to. As a matter of fact, I would have ended up in hell upside down. That's the home I would have go to, hell. At that time, you know what I did? I just came from revelry. I just came from bacchanal, fetting, right? So, I wouldn't go to heaven, I would go to hell. But God spoke to me, and I shouted after God, and I was angry at God, and I started cursing him. You know our dialect. Your mother this, your mother that, your father this, and your father that, and this and that. And I started cursing God. I cursed God. Yes. You watch me and tell me, God, you crazy. How you can curse God? When you are going through pain, at that time, it's not God you want to see. Huh? You vex with God. God. Let me tell you, I curse God. But God never failed. So God continued talking. The more I curse, the more God talk. So I continued cursing him, and God said to me, you have too much work to do for me. I cannot take you now. That's the worst thing I could have heard. I get more indignant. I get angry this time. I say, I don't have nothing to do for you. Don't tell me your nonsense. I don't have nothing to do for you. Don't come and tell me your publisher. I have nothing to do for you, and I don't know you. Don't talk to me. And, brothers and sisters, God still spoke. He said it again. You have too much work to do for me. I cannot take you now.